before we started the show. And now you've started the show. So now
I've started the show.
Started the show. Hey, show. How's it
Hey,
going? How's it going? Yeah. Hey, show.
welcome everyone to the very aptly named Unready room, of course. Talking about Star Trek Lower Decks. This week, I'm Dan Gunther. With me, of course, as always, Brandi Jackola. How's it going?
I'm putting out more enthusiasm than I actually feel. Not that I'm not enthusiastic. It's just I'm too tired.
Oh well,
It's okay.
I get it. You've been chased around the starship by Cranch, and you're just beat. I get it.
Dude, and my throat hurts from all that screaming. Oh my
There were
word.
so many Boimler screams in this episode.
And it brought me unadulterated joy.
Oh
I
man.
shouldn't have enjoyed that as much as I did, but I just really did enjoy it.
I want more than anything a behind the scenes look at him doing that Boimler scream. I really want to see that. I want to see that in live action. Oh, I really hope in that crossover episode with Strange New Worlds, Boimler screams. Oh my god.
Please. Well, there was a while, I think it might have been between seasons 1 and 2, or it might have been after season 2. I'm not 100% sure. Probably somewhere around there. But people were saying, "Oh, I don't believe that's you screaming, Jack." And so he put out a video on Instagram of him screaming.
Oh, I gotta
And
find that.
he just went, "Good morning," and did the scream, and then that was it.
It's Wednesday, my dudes.
Yes. Just good morning. Scream! And then, just
Oh
so
man.
just to prove that was really him screaming, which I never had any doubts myself.
No.
But
Yeah, that's amazing. It every time I hear that, I'm just amazed by it. So I should say we're talking about season 3, episode 2, The Least Dangerous Game. Just for posterity's sake, if you're watching this video out of time or whatever. Yeah, that's where we're at right now in the season. Talking about that episode, which man, at this point, like, I can pick 1 or 2 or 3 episodes from the first 2 seasons that maybe didn't wow me, but I've not seen a bad episode of Lower Decks yet. Like, they just continually knock it out of the park. And this week in particular, there's something about this episode, and I've seen similar comments online, so I may be stealing the thoughts of others on this, but it feels like, which is, this is odd to say about an episode that has J.G. Hertzler as Martok, but it feels like they're relying less on pre-established Star Trek lore and kind of creating more of their own type of thing with this episode, just in certain parts, and it's working really, really well. Like, I love this. Like, they're referencing past episodes of Lower Decks, which we haven't gotten a lot of, but they're kind of building their own lore out and now referencing characters and situations from previous seasons. That just, I love that. I think it's great.
yeah, I love that too. I just love this show, frankly. And there hasn't been a disappointing episode for me at all. This one was great because, I'm a Dungeons and Dragons kind of girl. And so when they started playing that lesson, but I can't do it right. I can't speak Klingons, which of course I had to look up, and apparently it was not a canon Klingon word until now.
Nice. Very
And it
nice.
means cowards.
Oh, batleths and cowards. I love it.
Yep.
That's terrific. Well, yeah, let's start with that game, the Ferengi black market D&D clone with J.G. Hertzler as Martok, as he is in the credits. I love that they put the quotes around his name in the credits.
Yes.
And now, of course, as soon as I saw this, I don't know if you ever played this game, but you've probably seen it referenced online now. The VHS interactive Star Trek The Next Generation Klingon encounter game, or whatever they called it, with Robert O'Reilly, not
as
playing
Gowron.
Gowron. He
Oh,
wasn't.
not playing Gowron.
Yeah, it was a different Klingon. played by Robert O'Reilly. I just saw it here. Kavak was the name of the Klingon. He had different forehead ridges and stuff, but like it's Gowron, you know. Um, so yeah, I mean, that was immediately going through my mind when I saw this episode. I was like, oh my god, they're playing that basically future version of the VHS thing.
Yes.
And of course, they reference an expansion pack that has Gowron.
Gowron.
So I'm like, yeah, that's great.
Yeah, I think that was put out, if I'm not mistaken, by Milton Bradley.
That sounds right. Oh, it's a
I
Klingon
think so.
challenge, is what it was called.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me see here. It says it was produced by Decipher.
Oh,
Um,
Decipher. Okay.
yeah,
There must have
but
been something else that Milton Bradley did that was Star Trek that I'm mixing it up with.
yeah,
Everybody in the chat, tell me what it was. Tell me what I'm mixing it up with. What did Milton Bradley do that was Star Trek?
oh, and
And go.
Patrick took the words out of my mouth. Experience beige. Oh man, so good. Um, I really want to see a future episode where they're just playing this and you hear Robert O'Reilly's voice on it. That would be great. But
Yeah, I really love the part where they're like, "How many of you are taking this challenge?" And you say, "4." I heard 4, and then right back into the Klingon voice.
it was so good. And I love, yeah, Rutherford, like, I can't believe Martok recorded all of this. Like, no, this is just a knockoff, you know. It's
They do
but
for all the famous Klingons.
so great. Yeah, I loved that whole thing. I was just grinning from ear to ear throughout all of that. And you know, JG Hertzler has been on Lower Decks, of course, before, but not as
In every
Martok.
season.
So
I think
yep,
he's been
that's
in
true.
every season. Yeah.
Has he? What was he in season 2?
I'm
That's cool.
sure he was in there. I know he was in
Okay.
there. Somebody will know. Somebody will know.
Yeah. Um
Patrick probably knows. Patrick knows everything. Yes. Patrick was one of the first people that messaged me. I mean, this was on the day that it dropped because he knew I would have seen it because I have the screeners and so do you. And
mm,
so he's like, he started early and he's like, I know I can always message you because I know you've seen it. And that was one of the earliest things he said was that I think they're referencing with the Gowron expansion pack this thing that Robert O'Reilly did that was videotape in the 90s.
this is so
Videotape
great.
game.
Oh, I
Yeah.
remember playing that game a number of times. It was so much fun. And so DJ Kitty Cat, I'm not sure if anybody else has answered you, but Experience Beige was something that Robert O'Reilly's character said in the game, and that was the signal that you had to pick up a beige card. And I can't remember if I'm pronouncing that right, but I think it means punishment or something like that. It was like you pick the card and it says, you know, something bad happens to you basically in the board game.
Mm,
So yeah, that was it's the much made fun of or the much imitated line that comes up quite a bit in that game. So yeah, um,
nice.
so much fun, so ridiculous. Uh, just for Robert O'Reilly's overacting as what was it, Kavok or whatever. I love that. It's great. Anyway,
Good times.
um, I also want to comment on Boimler's cosplay, little Klingon headpiece wig thing. That
I
was
have
so
seen those at actual cons.
that felt so real to me. Like that was yeah, that made it. Like I would love to see the, you know, the sessions where they're trying to come up with the character models and stuff for this episode and settling on that and making that happen. That was beautiful. That
Yeah,
was
just
so
not
good.
even bothering to fully cover up his hair or anything. Just think like a hat.
So good. Oh man. Um so yeah, we start out with this game. We find out that of course Mariner has been um I don't know, mentored, I guess, by Jack Ransom, and that's continuing, and she's not having a good time of it. Um, and we also find out this is one of the references to previous lore in Lower Decks. Vendome, the Bolian, who got stabbed with the crystal spear in season 1, is a captain now, and that this blows Boimler's mind, and he's like, he's been playing it safe all the time. He plays it safe in this game and ends up being killed. And it's like, okay, from now on, I'm gonna be bold Boimler. I'm gonna say yes to stuff after this discussion with Tendi that takes place later, which results in him going in this was it a spring ball game with
Yep.
I can't remember who the guy was who asked him, but Shax is there as well. And I love, okay, first of all, the outfits they're wearing is like that's based on one that Bashir wore in season 2 of DS9, the episode
Yep.
Rivals,
Mhm.
which I didn't realize at the time was like probably an actual Starfleet issued uniform thing, because O'Brien played against him in like sweats and a t-shirt and a
Yep.
headband, and Bashir wore that, and of course it had the department color, but it didn't occur to me that that was, and I love that they're all wearing these ridiculous One Piece outfits.
Yes, and I think, if I remember correctly, because there's a mobile game called Star Trek Timelines, and they're really good about including stuff from every iteration of Star Trek except for the Kelvin movies, and I
Hmm.
think that's a licensing thing. But they've now started adding Lower Decks characters. But I believe that I do have a Bashir in that outfit because
Ah.
it's all the timelines are existing in one space, so you can have different characters,
Mhm.
like the same character but from different times in their history, all on your ship. It's bizarre, but fun. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure I have that Bashir. In
Oh, that's
fact,
awesome.
I'm just gonna look. I'm just gonna grab my phone and look real quick. Talk amongst yourselves, I'll be listening.
I love it. Well, Donna in the comments here addresses something from the Milton Bradley comment. Star Trek the game from
Yeah.
1979. They Milton Bradley apparently did a Star Trek game. So
Yeah,
cool.
and see, I knew about that, I just couldn't I get times mixed up in my brain.
Mm,
Because I was at 1979, I was old enough to know what Star Trek was at that point, and
hmm.
I was old enough to know Spock was my favorite character, and so I was old enough to remember that there was a board game of some kind that was Star Trek that I thought was from Milton Bradley, so
Nice. I'm just looking through comments here. I'm gonna try and be better. I'm gonna be very upfront with everyone. I'm going to try and be more mindful of the comments and stuff, because sometimes we get into these discussions and I'm not referring to these. But TJ says, I want a D20 with Klingon numbering. I would bet good
yes.
money that like Star Trek Unlimited or some other outfit like that is going to do that if they haven't already. Actually, is there anything like that with the Star Trek Adventures D&D type game? Do they? I know they have different dice sets. I wonder if they have. They should definitely do one with Klingon numbering because those were gorgeous.
Yeah, I'm sure honestly, after this particular episode, I would be surprised if there aren't a lot of Etsy stores suddenly coming out with Klingon numbered dice.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
because Etsy stores, they have a lot of stuff you can't find anywhere else, and when it comes to uh D&D stuff, they have a lot of dice.
Mm.
I should know I kind of have a dice addiction problem. Have more pairs of dice than I could ever need, but,
you know
I
what's
still get more.
what's really sad is I've never got into D&D or anything like that, but when Modifius put out the Star Trek Adventures thing, I bought like the starter pack with dice sets and a whole bunch of stuff, and it has sat untouched for however many years it's been now, 2 or 3 years, maybe more than that now, but it makes me, oh, hey, there it is right there. Oh my goodness. Okay, hold on. Let me That's great. That is Racquetball Bashir. I love it.
Yep, I knew I had him. I knew I had him because I you can't forget that particular outfit because I'm just like Okay. I don't remember him wearing that a lot, but hey, it doesn't matter. It could be somebody you saw one time in one episode for 5 seconds, and it's in they're probably gonna make a character for it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Oh yeah. I want to jump back to the Klingon game, and that the horrible dishonor that's visited upon Boimler is that he has to live out the remainder of his life as a dentist, which must be absolute hell for a Klingon. Like, have you
Yes.
seen the teeth they'd have to deal with on Kronos?
Mhm.
Yeah, no,
Mhm.
not a good life. Oh man, that made me,
So funny.
yeah.
Just that whole thing, just so great. So great.
Oh. So yeah, let's talk about Boimler's story, I guess. So yeah, he takes part in this spring ball game, and he impresses Shax not with his athleticism, but by the aforementioned full-throated scream um, that he's known for. And Shax wonders if he might join his dirge choir.
Bajoran dirges.
Um, which we get to see, and they're all just like tears streaming down their faces doing these dirges, and that was fun. And then we find out that Chief Lundy wants Boimler to join his life drawing class as a model, which we don't get to see. And can I just say, like, I'm extremely disappointed by that. I mean, maybe it writes itself and you see like whatever image you have in your head is probably hilarious already, but I kind of wanted to see that. I don't know what that means, but I wanted to see that.
I wonder if it was something that they were gonna do and then just didn't have time for.
I wouldn't be surprised. It had that feel to it. Yeah. But
Because I would have watched
unfortunately,
the hell out of that. It's like, yeah, give me Boimler. Give me all the Boimler. I say that unironically.
absolutely. Chief Lundy's accent. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. They've commented on this in the fact. They've commented on this in the past on the show, right? Where I don't know if they were like, "What is that accent?" But they're like, they commented on how weird his accent is or something, right?
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
Or oh yeah, no, it was Crisis Point, and they said, "Oh, you got Chief Lundy's accent just right," or something like that.
There
Yeah,
we
that
go.
was it. Um, yeah, I don't know. I can't place that accent either myself, but I wonder if
Uh,
that's by design.
I want to say Bela Lugosi's Dracula, basically,
Yeah,
is
that's
what I'm
kind of what I was
feeling.
thinking. Oh man. Yeah. Okay. So Boimler's going through all this stuff. He's deciding like, hey, I've made all this progress by saying yes to everything. I'm gonna say yes no matter what. And this is where we meet Cranch. And first of all, I love Tandy, and she has a way of like seeing through a thing where he's like, I made all these plans and they don't work out. From now on, the new plan is I say yes to everything. And Tenny's like, that's still
That's
kind of a
the
plan. Like, how
plan.
about you just, it's like, nope, I'm definitely doing this. And we learn that Cranch has been stuck on the ship because the elevator's broken, as they keep saying in the episode. He can't get back to the planet and he needs to do this ritual hunt. And I love Tendy is like, oh no, thank you.
I love how Cranch is saying things too, because he's like, would either of you be willing to be prey? So funny.
He was so good. Who did who did his voice here? Nolan North. He
He's done
plays
a lot of,
Lundy. He plays
yeah.
Lundy as well.
I
Okay.
was gonna say he's done a lot of voices in Lower Decks. A lot
Yeah.
of voices.
He was perfect as Cranch because it was the kind of voice where I'm like, I feel like I've heard this voice before, like in Star Trek, but you know, it he was channeling a bunch of different stuff, but it was so good. Yeah, wanting to hunt Boimler, and Boimler's like, yes, I will. And of course hilarity ensues. And We get another classic Boimler scream as Tendy's like, "You only have an hour, run!" You just hear this scream receding as he runs out of the mess hall, or the bar, I guess.
So
Uh,
great.
oh man, I need to find that video. As soon as we're done here, I need to find that. And that's anyway. Um, also, I saw somebody post a picture of the Heinz Cranch, which is like the
Mhm.
mix of ketchup and ranch, which
Yep.
to me
Yep.
sounds like the most vile thing in the world. But
I've never had it and I never will.
no.
So, I draw the line after fry sauce. Just stop. Fry sauce, by the way, is ketchup and mayonnaise, but with
Hmm.
also a bit of pickle juice and some other things that make it extremely tasty. Ask Bruce Gibson, he will tell you I am
Mm-hmm.
correct. But Cranch,
I
why would you do that?
I may be weird, but I despise ranch in the first place. Like I just do not like ranch. I don't like the
It's
flavor. I
so
don't.
it's so basic. It's
Yeah,
so basic.
ugh, not a fan.
There's
So
so many more interesting things you can do. Yeah, but I think that they were painting wink, wink, basically painting that as this is we're making fun of this because when, he's got the white markings and then he's got the red hunt
ah,
paint on his face, they knew what they were doing.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Disagree, but I like the sentiment. It's a warrior's sauce. Ugh. Um, so yeah, Boimler is getting chased all around the ship by Cranch, and yeah,
The
he's a
screams.
drama magnet
That guy's
running
such a
into.
drama. Don't jump in here with dirty shoes. That's messed up.
He's such a drama magnet. Oh my goodness. That was great. Anytime we get to see Cetacean Ops, and I can't
Kimolu
remember.
and Matt.
Yes, thank you. Yep, Kimolu and Matt.
Mhm.
That was great. Um, so my favorite bit though has to be when he runs into the captain and
Yes.
Captain, I'm being hunted. And she's like, not on my ship. Security team to deck 3. He's like, oh, thank you. It's this guy named Cranch. Blah blah. Cranch. Oh, never mind. Security cancel. He's delightful. We had brunch.
Had
Oh,
a
you get to
lovely
take part
brunch.
in his hunt. That's wonderful.
We have to respect his culture. Just Cranch crawling on the ceiling, then stops at the captain. Captain, I must thank you again for the mimosas.
Yes.
Just
Um,
hanging from the ceiling like it's the most natural thing in the world that's happening on the ship, and it probably isn't the weirdest thing that's ever happened on the Cerritos, so
mhm,
here we
yeah.
are.
So I think back to like the very first episode where everybody's turning into zombies and Rutherford and his date are like, yeah, whatever. It
Yeah,
feels
that
like
that that was Ensign Barnes. Yeah.
Ensign Barnes, thank you. I had a mental block at the moment, but yeah,
I never forget because Barnes is my maiden name.
right. And I remembered the link to you, but I couldn't remember the actual name. So that's funny. Oh, thank you. I will check that out. Much appreciated.
Yes.
Oh man. Um oh really? Okay. Um that's sad that you didn't have the subtitles for the whales and cetacean ops. That's wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, that must be an Amazon Prime Australia problem because I watched it on Amazon Prime and because I have my Paramount Plus subscription through Amazon channels,
Mm.
and I had the subtitles, so
Yeah. I
weird.
think yeah, that version of it would carry the Paramount Plus version of it. And I think
Mhm.
the international Amazon Prime carries their own, so they probably have their own proprietary thing for putting text on screen. That sucks. I hope yeah. I got subtitles on Crave as well. So um yeah, that's annoying. I would be finding somebody to email about that because yeah, that's not cool. Um, hmm, interesting. Huh? Yeah. Because yeah, the subtitles were great. talking about the dirty shoes, like we said, and all that stuff. So that's really frustrating. That's not cool.
Yeah, not cool at all. I'm so sorry, Nick. That sucks, man.
So the hunt culminates, as apparently it often does, with a tale old as time. The hunted becoming the hunter, or trying anyway. Um, I love that, where first of all, it's the Martok simulation that like gets him pumped up, and he kits himself out, grabs the phaser rifle, and goes out there and gives the speech, and immediately gets speared through basically his shoulder, I guess. Ugh.
Yeah. He had a bowl on his head. He had the snacks bowl on his head, which means he dumped out all the snacks so that he could
Oh my
put that bowl
god.
on his head. I love you, Boimler.
Oh
I
man,
love you so
he's
much.
amazing.
Woo,
Also,
just
as
hit
a
my
side
brain.
note, I gotta say how much this episode made me want chips and guacamole, because I
Mm,
haven't had that in ages, and I don't know how in an animated 2D show like this that looked so good, but man, that looked good. Anyway,
yeah, I was thinking that I could go for some tortilla chips, man.
right?
I don't like guacamole. I don't like avocados in
Mm.
any shape or form, but I could have definitely gone for some tortilla chips right about then.
Fair enough. Yeah. Actually, I didn't like guacamole for the longest time until some friends of mine, their daughter makes this guacamole, and it is friggin' amazing, and I like need to rent her services as a caterer for any future get-togethers or something. Just amazing. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so yeah, Boimler, like I said, gets speared in the shoulder, and it's told by Cranch, like, this always happens. The hunted tries to become the hunter, but you gotta, like, I can't remember what he says, but it's like you gotta duck and weave a bit. You can't just stand
Yeah.
there.
Basically, he's telling him how great a job he did. He said, "I have some notes."
Yes.
You have some
Oh,
notes.
I have some notes was almost my like little
Yeah,
name
and
here.
it's
That was
just
great.
I seriously, and Boimler's just like, "Could we please maybe can you tell them maybe to me in sick bay?" And he just goes right on. I love that thing that he pulls out is a selfie stick to take pictures of
That was beautiful. I want, like,
that.
oh, if Lower Decks was the kind of show that, like some comedy shows, they have like the credits and they have a little stinger scene at the end, like one last little joke.
Mhm.
In my mind, I pictured like social media on Cranch's planet, and he's showing this picture, and there's like activists that are like trying to shame him for hunting this beautiful creature or something like
But they do catch and release, they
that.
don't
Yeah,
kill.
it's
They don't
great.
kill
Yeah.
any of them. So it's all just about they have to give into that instinct, but they don't have to kill, and so they develop this thing. Just so funny.
Oh, so good.
Oh, I love it
Um,
so much.
oh, Matthew, I also really like that too. The three kinds of prey. And he's like, there's the kind that like cowers and blah blah blah, and there's the kind that scampers away and hides, blah blah blah. And then the third, it's a flying lizard creature. That doesn't apply to you. I love that. That was great. Um oh man. I love the discussion happening about avocados now. I love the tangents. It's so much fun. Um
Yeah.
And TJ, that's a good point. They get consent before hunting. Like,
Mhm.
he didn't hunt Tendy. She said no. And he's like, respect.
Yeah.
I love that.
And, somebody earlier, and I can't remember who it was saying that it looked like he'd been asking a Vulcan prior to talking to Boimler and Tendi. Oh,
Uh,
actually, a Vulcan might have a better shot because they would go about it very logically.
I was kind of thinking, yeah, when you said that, I'm like, yeah, you know.
They're pretty formidable warriors when they need to be, so
hmm Um, and Matthew, yeah, the Borg lower decks crew in Way Douche. That was kind of, yeah, one of those stinger scenes that I was thinking of. So they have done that in the past, I think.
Well, it was really just the whole credits.
Yeah.
It's just that the credits were going over that for the entire credit sequence.
Oh man, I
So
love
great.
this show. I
It's so
love
great.
it can be so many different things, you know. Anyway, okay, so we haven't talked about Mariner's story yet, so let's jump over to that where, and it's also kind of Rutherford's story there as well, where they're going down to fix the space elevator or the orbital
Orbital
tether,
lift.
orbital lift. If you want to flower it up with language, they're fixing a broken elevator. But Ransom decides that he and Mariner are going to stay up and fix the lift while he sends um, Rutherford and, oh my goodness,
Phillips.
guys, Billups, thank you. I'm going to be totally honest. The COVID brain fog is absolutely real. I
I
know who
know.
Billups is. Oh, and my brain just like decides to turn off at various times.
No, I get it. Been there, done that fairly
Oh,
recently, within the last couple months. So
it's so
I feel you,
frustrating.
Dan. I feel you.
I feel like an idiot half the time,
Don't.
but
You're not.
ah,
We all know. We know. It's okay. It's not you. It's not you.
I know,
It's the
I know.
it's the COVID.
um, so yeah, they're gonna do the diplomatic stuff with the alien race that believes in wellness and kissing with tongue to say hello. At first, they're having the time of their lives, and Mariner and Ransom are trying to fix this thing, and obviously not doing a good job of it. Um,
They're not
thanks.
engineers.
No, they're not. That was ridiculous. And yeah, we find out Ransom's whole reasoning was that he was trying to kind of push Mariner into disobeying his orders and proving that it's like, oh, come on. Like, great leadership skills there, bud. But we know that he's kind of incompetent.
Yeah, I mean, he can be competent when he puts his mind to it,
Or when he shows off his
but
perfect lava tubes.
to be fair, they're pretty perfect. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, we've never said that he wasn't ripped because we knew from season 1
Mm-hmm.
that he was ripped. So
And so
ethical.
yeah. Our brains both went to the same place. Yep.
It's a hoot when my mom is watching Lower Decks because she's like, "Now, which one is Jerry O'Connell again?" And I'm like, "Jack Ransom, the first officer, the one who's always working out, with the pecs and whatnot." And she's like, "Okay." She's just like trying to reconcile those two things in her brain, I guess. Hi, mom. So
It's so funny because Jerry O'Connell as Ransom, I still try to picture Ransom's voice coming out of Jerry O'Connell, and my brain still has an issue with like he he does such an effect on his voice when he's playing Ransom. It like I've shown this show to people who are big Jerry O'Connell fans, and they're like, that's him. That doesn't sound like him. Yeah, that's him.
he's just that
I
good, y'all.
yeah, I love the voice that he's come up with for Ransom. Like it's I don't know, it's like two parts normal, one part kind of weird and high pitched, but still kind of I don't know. It's a
Yeah,
really unique voice. I love what he does with that.
me too. Me too.
Mhm. um, yeah, I thought of them as well, of course, for
Mhm,
sure.
yes. Oh, that's who we were meant to think of.
Oh, for
That's
sure.
absolutely who we were meant to think of, so
Just make sure to show your navel, but at the proper time, and don't have an Audi. Apparently, they really don't like that. Um, I love that it's canon now that Billups has an Audi too. Like that's just something we know about him now. Okay.
yeah. Okay. Amongst the other things that we know that we wish we didn't, probably.
Yeah. Yeah. I love I love also "Don't accidentally become a king." Somebody called out that line. Uh,
Yep.
oh
Yeah,
yeah, there it is.
because he was talking
Patrick.
about how much fun they were having and how welcoming the people were and how attractive they were and all that, yeah. How they kiss everyone hello.
Hmm. Well, it does take a bad turn, of course,
Of
when
course.
they're not showing their navels. They don't show their belly buttons at some thing, and they're getting chased, and they think the planet's ruled by a sentient volcano, but also maybe a telepathic baby. And then we find out also later a sentient computer.
It's
It's all
only
about
one.
checks and balances, though, you know.
Well, that's fair, actually. No one ruler has all of the power. So, not one of these crazy beings can make all the decisions. Do they have to have a majority vote then? Is that why there's 3? So that
Hmm.
they can so that one person can still be outvoted by the other 2 if they have a really extra dumb idea. I'm curious how that works, but
Hmm.
yeah.
I enjoyed that. That was ridiculous, but and also
Yeah.
the volcano is the navel of the planet. I think it's like, okay, yep, that tracks.
Well, when you think about it, all of their symbology kind of points to that.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah, the like logos on the spacesuits that are
yep.
there, and um, speaking of spacesuits, of course, we get an homage to Star Trek '09 with the orbital skydiving that well, first Mariner undertakes herself, and then later she and Ransom do together. Okay. Um, I'm jumping around a bit because I want to talk about some stuff that happens earlier, but I just, while I'm thinking about it, the one moment where Mariner's asleep and all her limbs are just kind of flopping.
Yep, and then her parachute deploys and she goes, "What?" The voice acting on that was so great.
Oh my god. Um,
Tawny, you're amazing, Tawny.
she is amazing. And
Oh.
like before that too, where she goes by herself and Ransom's like, ah no, you're right, blah blah blah. And she's like, crap. Um,
He has
and
to climb back up.
my
And
favorite part of that is, and I can't say the dialogue and
the
keep
bleeps,
the
yes.
video. It's all bleeped, but it's
Bleep,
so
bleep, bleep, bleep.
it's 5 like sh words in a row, and then she looks up and drops an f-bomb. That's the
So
extent of her
funny.
dialogue in that part, and it's so funny.
Mhm.
Even though we don't really hear her say it, it's so
Yep.
great. Oh my god.
So,
I
yeah.
That's another one I want to see the video of the recording session for. I love Tawny Newsome so much.
Me
Like,
too. I have loved
she's,
her for years.
oh man. I cannot wait to meet her at a convention someday because like that's gotta happen. She's so good.
She is so good. They're
Yep,
all so
there
good.
we go.
All so good.
There's the dialogue.
Yep, yep. And then when she gets up to the top of the ladder, and now it's a climbing wall.
And she's cursing these damn wellness aliens the whole way up. Oh my god. That was so
Oh,
good.
so great.
Oh, I'm crying laughing about this. Oh my god. Um and then yeah, culminating with her limbs just like that image. I just can't shake that image. That is the funniest damn thing. Um thank you. Oh man. Um
Oh.
so they get down to the planet, and Rutherford and Billups are about to be sacrificed to the volcano. They're getting dangled over it. And Ransom, of course, like, your culture is based on wellness. Well, this. um, and he starts reciting the speech that he wrote in season 1 when they were on the crystal planet. And he's like, we
Mm.
may come from different cultures, but I'm like, I know
But
exactly where
we
that's
are
from.
only slightly different. Slightly different nose ridges, you know?
Yes, that line was so good too. Um,
Hmm.
oh man, I yeah, I don't have the exact line in front of me, but yeah, it was Starfleet's not just about uh making out with aliens with slightly different nose ridges or something like that.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Something to that effect. Just that was almost my name, with slightly different nose ridges, but I didn't think it was gonna fit. So,
nice.
I went with
Yeah,
my basic natural 20. Thank you very much.
that's good. I
For
was
I'm
sorry.
sorry, go ahead. No,
Oh,
I
I
was
was
just
just
gonna
mm, mm,
I was just going to say, for those who don't know anything about Dungeons and Dragons, when you roll a 20-sided dice for an attack and you get a natural 20, that is a critical hit and it means you do double damage. Now,
mhm.
conversely, if you roll a natural 1, you fail super hard and usually hurt yourself or something else awful happens to you. It is the dungeon master's discretion. So, the natural 20 is like the thing you always want to roll when you're going for that attack roll. So
Mhm.
that's why, just in case y'all didn't know, now
Yeah.
you know.
Um so yeah, Ransom gives that speech, shows off his perfect lava tubes, as the volcano says, and gets everybody out of there, saves the day. Um, I loved, by the way, when Rutherford was like, I don't know, he saved us from the lava volcano thing, and I love that Mariner points out, it's like, no, you were dangling over the volcano because of him. Yeah, thank you. That
Mhm.
very disappointed in Jack this episode. That guy.
Are we ever not disappointed in Jack?
Well, I mean, when he's singing, when he's playing his acoustic guitar and singing about the summer he spent in Barcelona, um, I still reference that. That's still one of my favorites. Oh, and Matthew keeps bringing up my favorite lines, which we'll get to. I love that. Oh man. So
Oh.
yeah, that final scene, they're playing the game again, and oh, sorry, I'm jumping all over it. I found the line. Starfleet isn't all about being fed fruit by erotic aliens with slightly different nose ridges. That's the line.
Yep. Oh.
Uh, anyway, so yeah, they're playing that game at the end and they're having that discussion. And yeah, the part he goes to the bar and demands, I forget
Blood
what he said,
wine. He
demands blood
demands
wine.
blood wine.
The bartender rips off your arm and kills you with it. And you did not die an honorable death because technically you died by your own hand. Um, that was great. And I love it, almost felt like they were making fun of the Star Trek trope of the reset button. You know, things in classic episodic Star Trek where
Mhm.
they've learned some big lesson or had something and they'll forget about it by next week. Where Boimler's like, I'm going to be, bold from now on. And then that happens to him. And then he's like, whatever, I'm still going to be bold. I like that. But they're like, no, no, no. We're still going to, yeah. Anyway, I like that.
Yeah, well, he did make it farther in one day without, by saying yes. So,
Hmm.
which is not to say that you should say yes to everything, but
Yeah.
it is good to say yes to things that you haven't done before if it's safe for you and will not result in your, being beaten to death by your own arm.
Yeah. Or, well, and even though in this case he apparently has permanent nerve damage in his left shoulder,
It's always gonna
um,
feel a little off.
yeah, it's just always gonna. I guess when they're on a planet and it rains, it'll hurt or something.
I
But
know how that feels
mm,
actually, but mine isn't nerve damage.
mm, um, but even with that said, he still got good stuff out of that because Cranch, said, well, he said he was going to like talk up Boimler to his captain now. I have no reason to assume he didn't do that. So they seem to have a fine brunch relationship. So,
Yeah,
over mimosas, he talked about
mimosas,
how awesome Boimler was. So
yeah.
that's pretty cool. I really like that. Like, even though that was traumatic and horrific, Boimler really comes out ahead in this episode. That was really nice.
Yeah. Yeah. He I just appreciated that. I like boiled Boimler. I wanna see more of
Mm-hmm.
boiled I'm so sorry. Bold Boimler, not boiled Boimler. I do crap
Oh,
like that all the time. I'm so sorry.
maybe boiled Boimler will be what happens to William Boimler. It'll be something happens, and I don't know.
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
want and again I still haven't watched ahead past this week. Sorry, Brandi. But I'm really wondering if we're gonna see William Boimler this season. Don't answer that, but anyway, yeah. um Martok is still Chancellor, apparently. That's cool. That's good to know. Um Based on extrapolating from some of the dialogue in this episode, it sounds like he's still Chancellor. That's
Yeah,
cool.
that's good. Good thing. And not a
Yeah.
changeling. So yeah, even better thing. Good job.
Yes, absolutely. um yeah. Okay. Anything else we haven't mentioned with regards to this episode? It feels like we've covered it pretty thoroughly, but
Did we ever last week talk about the addition of the crystalline entity in the battle?
watching the credits this week, I thought of that too, that we didn't mention that. So yeah, each season they add a little bit more to this Borg battle, it looks like, and now we've got, the crystalline entity in the background there.
With the
uh
sound and everything.
yes, the like shimmery.
Which is funny because, there is no sound in the vacuum of
No.
space. But that's okay. It's okay. We're just used to it. And, it would be weird now if we didn't have
Mhm.
that sound in Star Trek. So,
Yeah. Yeah, it's cool. Very beautifully rendered there too. Looks
yes.
awesome. Yeah.
Very, very detailed. Lovely.
Um, Lunch with Lady Lindor is apparently the expansion that if you want to continue playing this particular mission, you've got to now get that. Or also, I know, like, this second time watching it, something about Martok, JG Hertzler as Martok, just saying, or you can order them a la carte, just really made me laugh. Just the idea of a Klingon saying a la carte.
Black market Ferengi tax not included.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
think I did that out order. Ferengi black market tax not included. Yeah.
That was great. Yeah, I think that pretty much covers the episode. So final thoughts, ratings, both from yourself, Brandi, of course, and the fine folks in the comments.
I did like the little thing that Mariner and Jack had after the mission, and he admitted that he was trying to get her to go against protocol and disobey his
Mhm.
orders, and she actually gave him a compliment, and he's like, yeah, don't try to buttering me up. I'm still gonna be riding your ass, basically. And that's when she goes back into 20 out of 20. Thanks, Dave. And that's when she goes back to the game and she's like, so Ransom's a dick and I hate him.
Her delivery of that line was perfect, by the way.
I have said similar things about certain people in the past in that exact same way. So I loved this episode, especially for the D&D stuff. Even the way they did the logo was so very
Yes.
D&D. The shirt for this week from Titmouse sold out
Oh,
in on the day that the episode was released.
Ooh,
I
I
I
haven't been
managed
keeping up
to
with them like I don't order them, but because I haven't checked, but I'm sure shipping to Canada sucks.
Yep,
Um,
I'm sure.
but
But,
yeah,
again, you have friends in the US that could ship them for you.
that's
But
true.
yeah, I was thinking, oh, I hadn't like on Thursday morning, I was at work at this point. It was probably around 9. And I thought, oh, I haven't seen an email from Titmouse about the shirt for this week. So I just went to the website and looked, and it already said low stock under every single size. And I'm like,
Oh
ah,
wow.
I gotta hurry and order one. And so I did. And I'm glad I did because now I have that shirt coming.
Nice. I like the little diggity, eh? Very nice.
Yes, yes. And that is absolutely fair.
Hmm.
Absolutely, representative of their practices.
uh, you know, when I saw this in the episode, I was wondering if someone would comment on that. Yeah, Tendi rocks the towel in this episode. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna lie. That was yeah, she looked great. Anyway, um
Yeah, see, and that I was just like, "Oh, this person in a towel," because that women are not automatically thinking sexually about someone
mhm,
because they're in a towel.
no.
Well, it
But
depends on who's in the towel, but most of the time, if we
fair.
see someone in a towel, it's just like, "Oh, that's a person in a towel."
Mhm. And I just visually I like that, it's probably they decided like, oh, we've storyboarded the scene or we thought of the scene and they're in their uniforms. Well, let's change it up a bit. Let's, make something a little bit more visually interesting. And that was kind of
Yeah.
cool.
Well, and it's not like we haven't seen towels in that hallway before. So,
Which
people in towels all the time
doesn't make
in the
sense
lower
because they're
decks.
Sonic showers. I love that. Oh,
Yeah. So, yeah, it's not the first time we've seen the characters in towels, so it's all good.
hmm,
Yeah.
yep, absolutely. Yeah, so my final thoughts, I love this episode. Like, I don't know, I can't even point to like one specific thing. Like a lot of times when I really like an episode, I'm like, oh my God, this was my favorite thing. This was so good. But there's just so many different elements in this episode that all come together to just make it really good. Like, I don't,
Yes.
it's so weird to not be able to point to any specific thing, but I just really love this episode. Everything came together, all the character bits. Um, even the like ridiculousness of Billups and Rutherford on the planet, like those little interstitial bits, they had the potential to be too over the top, but they worked really well. I love, and also I didn't mention this, but anytime they pair up Billups and Rutherford, it makes me so happy. They're so good together. And when they're
Yeah.
hanging over the volcano and it's like, it was an honor serving with you. And it's like, they're not gonna die in that moment, but it was just a
Yeah.
nice character moment. I really liked
But
that.
he called him Samanthan.
Yeah. Oh
My
yeah, I
heart.
forgot about that. Yeah,
Oh, so
that was
tender.
nice. I love those two. They're so great.
Yes, they are. Yeah. Yeah. Everything you said, it's great. Love this episode. No complaints.
Yeah.
In fact, extra points for all the Boimler screams.
Yes, absolutely. In fact, I was gonna say 5 out of 5 Boimler screams. It's so good. So,
I didn't even give a rating. Oh my gosh. Sorry.
oh,
It
sorry.
just I didn't even I got distracted by all the goodness in the episode. Yeah, I guess just one giant Boimler, really. just just a Boimler, because you know, I
Uh,
can identify with a lot of stuff that Boimler does.
oh
And
man.
basically, if this is what I had done, I just like, yep. I know exactly why he's doing everything he's doing at this point. I get it. I get it.
Hmm. I really want to play that Klingon D&D or B&B game, I guess, with them.
That lesson Benos. Benos. I don't know how to pronounce. I can't do Klingon, you guys. I
That's pretty
don't I
good, I
don't
think.
I don't get the pronunciations. I don't think it's just more it's like it's more Benos. Benos.
That sounds good to me. That's
There we
awesome.
go. So close enough.
Absolutely. So yeah, I don't think I have anything more to say about the episode. Definitely looking forward to next week's, which, sorry, Brandi, I've not watched yet. I can't talk about it with you yet.
This is the whole point of getting you scraters, Dan.
I'm sorry. I worry about watching ahead and then doing this. I know I just need to like not worry about that, but yeah.
Hey, I've been doing it for quite some time. The only time it was confusing was when we were doing Picard season 2, because that was just one giant episode.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you know what next week's is called? I have it in an email, but I can't remember, and it doesn't say on Memory Alpha.
I can't. I'll look it up really quick.
Oh, it's like, what is it? Mining the Mind's Mine or something like that.
Oh boy, that one. Okay, yep. I remember that one.
All right. Well, we'll definitely be here next week to talk about it. So I hope excuse me. I hope everyone can join us then. We'll definitely be here talking about it and having as much fun as we usually do. So yeah, thank you all so much for joining us. Brandi, where can people follow you and find out what's going on with you?
They can follow me to the depths of hell, where we will honor our forefathers. I don't know. You can find me on Twitter. I don't know where that came from. Twitter, Brandi112. That's where you can find me. Yeah.
DJ Kitty Cat, thank you. Yes, I've heard we're getting to Lynn. Where is she? Yeah. Great character. Can't wait.
Love her.
Way Douche, great episode. Anyway, I can't wait. Anyway, yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Kertrats. That's Kertrats. The Positively Trek podcast, which I think is taking this week off just while we get stuff settled with the new host, and but we will be back very shortly with new episodes of that. Yeah. Other than that, find me here. So yeah, thank you all so much for joining us. We'll see you next week for mining the mind's mind. I can't remember, something like that. Weird episode title. Can't wait to talk about it with all y'all, and we'll see you then. Live long and prosper, y'all.